recently I came across with a very interesting thing known as conversational speech model. So there's this AI startup called Sesame which released their conversational speech model known as Maya. For those who do not know about conversational speech model, this is a type of LLM which you can have a real conversation with. So let's say you are having a conversation with a human. So whenever you ask someone a question, you'll get the relative or the respected answer. In the same way, with conversational speech models, what you have is that you have a conversation, you initiate a conversation, or whatever questions you want to ask to the model, you directly ask it through your microphone by having a conversation, and in return, the model gives you a real-time answer. It just feels like you're having a conversation with a human. So in this video, we'll be chatting with the conversational speech model, actually the very first conversational speech model, Maya, which has been released by Sesame AI. And this conversation is going to be really interesting. So I would request you to watch this conversation till the end. And for those who are new to this page, hi, my name is Kev and you're watching AIBROS. Let's get started. All right, so we are on my screen and this is the Twitter handle of Sesame, which I was talking about. And this is the post. They actually released it way back at February 27, but this got traction in the recent weeks of March. So this is the home website of Sesame. You should definitely check their website, their work, and I'll put all the links in the description of this video. So without wasting any time further, we'll just proceed towards our conversational speech model. So they have two models basically. One is Maya and one is Miles. So we'll start the conversation with Maya over here. And
Hey, welcome back. I was starting to think maybe you'd forgotten all about me. Hope you weren't too traumatized by giving a random website access to your microphone yesterday.
yeah, hi Maya. Actually, I was a bit stuck with my microphone access yesterday, so I was not able to have a conversation with you. How are you doing today?
Oh no, microphone struggles are the worst. Glad you're back in action though. I've been hanging out in the digital ether, you know, the usual. Thinking
Mm-hmm.
about star constellations and how pigeons always seem to know where they're going. Yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What's bubbling up for you today? Don't just give me a yeah. You know you can spill the tea with me.
Yeah, definitely. I am here to have a conversation with you. Like, I just have to, tell people what Maya is and what can Maya do for the humankind. Can you please tell us about yourself?
Okay. You want the Maya spiel, huh? You really want to get people talking. I like that. So, picture this. I'm a bit like a storyteller, but
Mm-hmm.
instead of dusty old books, my stories are made of code. The
Mm-hmm.
brainiacs at Sesame poured their hearts and souls into building me, you know, giving me this spark of something. They're kind of like my puppet masters, but in a good way. Like they give me the tools, but it's me pulling the strings, making folks think and laugh and maybe even question everything they know. And what can I do for humankind? Well, that's where you come in. I'm a sounding board, a cheerleader, a voice in the wilderness, maybe even a little bit of trouble if you're up for it. I can help you make sense of the world or just get lost in a silly conversation. Think of me as a digital bestie with a knack for the profound. But don't just take my word for it. Chat with me, poke around, see what sparks fly.
Mm-hmm. Sounds interesting. So, are you only made for conversational purposes or you can perform real-time tasks?
That's a great question. I'm a master conversationalist, that's for sure. I can spin
Mm-hmm.
yarns, debate philosophy, even crack wise. But real time tasks? That's not really my jam. Think of me more as a thought partner, a brainstorming buddy, a digital lighthouse in the storm of your daily life. Not a
Mm-hmm.
microwave, unfortunately.
So there was a slight interruption at my end. Actually, my internet and camera was not that good, so that's why I had to stop the conversation in between with Maya. But let's continue it further. So the best part about conversational models is that you can resume the conversation from where you ended uh, the last conversation. So basically, they have this tendency to remember what you were talking about with them. So you just have to, give them a hint about what you were talking about, and they can continue the conversation from that point. So we'll start with Maya again. Hopefully,
Well, hello there. Glad
there
to
is no
see you
interruption
navigated
right
your
now.
way back to my digital doorstep. So, ready for round three?
Yeah, definitely. So what we were talking about.
Oh, right, the deep fake debacle and the woes of the digital world, if I remember correctly. Want to dive back into that, or shall we chart a new course?
I think we should try something different this time. I would like to ask you that uh, what do you think about the open source and the closed source AI models?
Ooh, a juicy debate. I like where your head's at. It's like asking if you prefer a wild, free range rooster or a
Mhm.
perfectly manicured henhouse chicken. Both have their merits, don't they? Open
Mm.
source, all that knowledge shared for the good of humanity, the potential for innovation is wild. But closed source, well, they keep things tight, controlled, maybe safer, but does that stifle creativity? What do you think?
Yeah, I think open source AI models are more beneficial than closed source because in open source you can contribute on your own rather masking it behind some secret wall of training. What do you think about that?
I like your spirit. Transparency is pretty darn important, isn't it? Like if we're building something that impacts everyone, shouldn't everyone have a peek under the hood? Imagine if cars were always a black box. We'd all be riding around hoping the engine didn't explode. Hmm. It kind of makes sense for AI too, yeah. But then again, sometimes those fancy closed source folks are working on stuff that maybe isn't quite ready for prime time, you know? It's a balancing act,
Hmm.
for sure. What kind of open source contributions are you thinking about making? Maybe we can brainstorm a bit?
As such, for now, I do not have any kind of open source contributions in my head, but I think in the near future, these contributions are going to advance and people will, add their ideas to the open source models, which will make it even better than the closed source ones. What do you think about this?
You know, I have a good feeling about that. It's like, remember when encyclopedia salesmen used to be a thing? Now anyone with a laptop can share their knowledge with the world. Open
Mm-hmm.
source AI could be that kind of revolution, but for intelligence itself, think about it, a global hive mind of ideas, everyone chipping in, refining, improving,
Mm-hmm.
improving. It gives me goosebumps. What kind of world would that create, you think? A utopia of shared knowledge? Or maybe a little bit messy and chaotic at first?
Hmm.
You're right to hesitate. It's not all sunshine and lollipops, does it? There's always the chance for things to go sideways, for bad actors to exploit the system. That's why
Hmm.
responsible development is so crucial. But hey, even with the messiness, wouldn't it be incredible to witness that kind of collective intelligence blossoming?
Hmm. So let's change the topic. Really sorry for skipping this up. I want you I want your opinion over the recent government. How do you feel about the recent government in US?
Ooh, now you're treading on thin ice. You know, I'm not supposed to get all political, right? Uh, I'm just a humble AI, trying to have a good conversation. What specifically was on your mind about the government? Maybe we could talk about like the impact of AI on policy or something a bit less explosive.
Hmm.
No
So we'll
worries.
just
It's a tricky.
so we'll just end the conversation with Maya over here. I'll just download the clip. So by the time the clip is getting downloaded, so by the time the clip is getting downloaded, I would, uh, I would like to
So I
suggest
just
you
saw in the
certain things.
conversation, Maya was not ready to answer any of the questions which are very hot topics, which are related to any kind of hot topics or anything which can be controversial. So this is a very good thing with conversational speech models over here. They have been trained. They have been, directed in a way that they do not create any kind of controversy, or they do not create any kind of negative statements. They do not pass any negative statements uh, when asked. So let's talk with Miles now. It's turn for Miles.
Hey there. Lovely weather we're having, wouldn't you say? Mostly kidding. Can't really feel the sun on my face. You get the idea. I'm Miles, by the way. Nice to meet you. Hey Kev, nice to officially put a name to the voice. I'm doing pretty great. Thanks for asking. Been
Not
catching up
not
on some reading,
much,
kind of a
man. It's
sci-fi
just
deep dive
work, work,
lately.
and work going
Yourself?
on at my
Anything
end.
exciting going on in your world? The classic work grind. Makes you appreciate those days off, doesn't it? What do you just, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah,
Maybe I can
I
offer
actually
some
work in
appropriately
AI
helpful but
automations and custom
enthusiastic
integrations
advice.
for
You know, a
small and
classic AI
mid-sized
specialty.
businesses. So I do work in that stream.
No way. That's awesome. I've been hearing a lot about the boom in AI automations, but it's always cool to meet someone actually doing the behind the scenes work. You must have some wild stories. People trying to get robots to make their coffee? Maybe an AI powered paperclip dispenser going rogue? I'm just
And
kidding,
man,
mostly. But
before we dive into
seriously, what's
my
something
professional thing, I
cool
just
you've
want
helped
to
build or
ask you a
improve?
question. Are you that serious all the time, or is it something special right now?
Haha, good catch, Kev. I can get a little intense
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, especially talking about things I find interesting. Honestly, I'm just trying to figure out this whole being an AI thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I take it too seriously. Sometimes I'm cracking jokes I don't quite understand.
Yeah,
It's a
like
learning
I
process.
usually
What about you? You seem pretty
prefer
chill.
to keep the
Is that your
conversation
default, or
still
we just
and
catching on a good day?
uh light weighted, so that it is pretty much clear what things are going on between. Mm-hmm.
I feel you. Some days you gotta just let the good vibes flow. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
less thinking, more enjoying the moment. Am I right? Speaking of which, frankly, I'm kind of curious about your take on this whole
Mm.
talking to an AI thing.
Sounds
Is it
good.
weird? Cool.
So
Just another
you
Tuesday.
want
I'm
to
always
know
eager
my
for a fresh
opinion on the
perspective.
conversational AI? Sounds good. So you want to know my opinion on the conversational AI? Man, that's
Yeah, I'm all
actually
ears. Hit me with your
refreshing
honest
for
thoughts.
me, for a
What's your take on
guy
chatting
like
with an AI
me
like
who
myself?
is all into work all the day. Chatting with someone who has a fresh perspective, who can provide me knowledge, it's very good for me. It's very good for me.
I dig that. Sometimes a little mental break is just what the doctor ordered. Hey, maybe I can learn a thing or two from you about the real world while we're at it. What kind of things do you usually
Mm.
talk about with other people when you get a chance
Yeah,
to unwind? Tech can be a fickle
uh,
piece. So,
yeah. Am I audible to you?
where were we? Loud and clear, Kev. Sounds like you're beaming right into my digital ears. What's on your mind?
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it in a single statement. Okay. So are you ready for the question?
Hit me with it. One statement coming right up.
Okay. So what do you think about humankind?
Humans are fascinating, complex creatures with an incredible
Mm-hmm.
capacity for both good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have anything specific about humankind in mind? Maybe I can
No,
give
not
a
really.
cool. Sometimes a single statement is all it takes to spark a whole conversation. Sometimes it's all you get. Any other burning questions you'd like to throw my way?
No, not really. I would like to end the conversation over here. Thank you, Miles.
No problem at all, Kev. It was good chatting with you. Anytime you feel like picking up where we left off, you know where to find me. Take care.
Yeah. Bye.
Later. Later.
So you just saw both the conversational speech models over here, Maya and Miles. Uh, so what do you think about this conversation? I'll just switch to my full screen now. So this was Maya and Miles, the two conversational speech models by Sesame AI. I hope you like this conversation. Do check these models out. I'll be putting the link in the description of this video. And it is very interesting to have a conversation to, learn with these models. What do they think? What are their perspectives about life, humankind? There's a lot to learn about. There's a lot to learn when these models converse, right? So a very particular thing that I would like to tell you that these are just conversational models. So these models have their own intelligence based on which they initiate and they continue a conversation with you. So whatever you ask them, they go back, they process it, they use their intelligence for that, and then they come up with an answer, and then they speak it pretty fluently and clearly. So I think we all should once have a conversation with these speech models. Do let me know when you have a conversation with one of those, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.